Hi and welcome back to the channel. The Premier League is back. I feel like that's like the third or fourth time I've said that this season so far already because of all the shitty international breaks. But yes, once again, the Premier League is back after the shitty international break. No more international break until March, I believe it is. So thank God for that. So at least now we can hopefully have some momentum in the Premier League after the difficult start Arsenal have had in the Premier League this season so far. So I'm going to be giving you my preview in regards to the Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest game this coming weekend, Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff UK time. Give you my my predicted starting lineup and also my predicted score going into this game. And obviously in this video, I'm going to be looking obviously at the players, the injuries, and also the availability and how Arsenal have been doing in this season so far. So again, if you're new around here, please consider hitting that like and share button, and most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So before I get into the actual preview itself in regards to Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest, you know, the other day, right, I was thinking to myself and I was like, when was the last time Arsenal won a Premier League game? And for the life of me, I couldn't remember. Let me know in the comments below without actually Googling it, if you remember the last time this season Arsenal won a Premier League game. Because I had to Google it and I was like, I can't remember. So obviously after Googling it, and I was like, oh yeah, it was, look, I'm even having to look. It was Southampton at home when we won 3-1. That's how long it was. That was on the 5th of October. We are now, as of the time of recording this video, 20th of November. I know the international break has been part of that, but the fact of the matter is we have not won a Premier League game since the 5th of October. And I was like, is that really concerning? I mean, don't get me wrong, in between that we've won Champions League game, you know, Carabao Cup games, but we haven't won a Premier League game since the 5th of October. You know what? As I said, we've had a difficult start when it comes to the Premier League. Probably one of the most difficult start in Premier League history for a top club. But for any club, for that matter, let's be honest about it. We've played Tottenham, we've played Aston Villa, we've played Liverpool, we've played Manchester City. Majority of them were away, part of the Liverpool game, you know, and we drew against Man City, we drew against Liverpool. Those two games, in my opinion, I think we should have won. But obviously circumstances didn't let us win that game, but we didn't lose. But in the games that we have lost, Bournemouth away, Newcastle away. Part of the Newcastle game, I mean, we didn't really play well. We didn't really deserve anything from that one. But the Bournemouth game, obviously, we had a red card with the Saliba one. I mean, we've covered that. Say what you will in regards to that. But we haven't done too bad. The quarter of the season is now gone. Let's be honest about it. When you analyze it, that's a quarter of the season gone. Tough start to the Premier League, injuries, suspensions. It's fair to say that Arsenal have actually not done too bad when you look at it in context, right? In regards to, as I've mentioned, the injuries, the suspensions, and, you know, in certain areas. And yes, the performance hasn't really been up to par. Yes, you know, people like Declan Rice, obviously playing with a broken toe, for example. Thomas Partey, I think, is having one of the best seasons ever in an Arsenal shirt, in my opinion. Playing out of position once in a while, right back, then going back into the midfield, probably in the same game as well. So when you analyze it as a whole, Arsenal haven't actually done too bad. It's not where we want to be when you look at it in terms of when the fixture list came out in the summer. You look at it thinking we can get points from there. Oh, that's a tough game, get points from there. But it hasn't turned out like that, you know. And everyone expected us off the back of last season, the way we were performing, to come back into the season and, you know, hit the blocks and hit the ground running. But it hasn't actually worked like that. Martin Odegaard has been injured for the majority of this season so far. Bukayo Saka hasn't really featured that well. He's been injured as well. Declan Rice has been injured. Marino that we got in, obviously, he came in off the back, got injured, shoulder injury. And you're just thinking, and then, you know, Jesus haven't been playing that well, hasn't really featured. Injuries as well. Zinchenko, injuries. So all these top players, or the first starting lineup, like compared to last season, that you would have expected to be in the squad, getting the ball rolling. They haven't really featured this season so far. But, we move in regards to that. So when you analyze it in context, in regards to the teams we've played, playing them away, the injuries, the suspensions, we haven't actually done too bad, in my opinion. So we are now in the position where we play Nottingham Forest, and they are playing really well. As it stands, obviously, Arsenal are fourth in the table. Nottingham Forest are fifth in the table. We are joint on points at the moment. The goal difference is +1 when it comes to Arsenal. And when you look at the last sort of fixtures going into this game, it's fair to say that Nottingham Forest have a better run in regards to this game. The last 5 games, for example, Arsenal have won 1, drawn 2, lost 2. Nottingham Forest have won 3, drawn 1, and lost 1. They lost against Newcastle just before the international break. Apart from that, they've been playing really well. So going into this game, I don't think it's one of those games where you can say it's going to be a rollover, that Arsenal are going to go in and just smash up Nottingham Forest, although as a fan, that is what I'm expecting. And I believe this is where our season actually starts. And I'm expecting Arsenal to now go on a run. Hopefully, we don't get any more suspensions. We don't get any more important injuries in important areas of the field. So if we can keep our players fit and get rid of all the suspensions, I do believe and I do expect Arsenal to go on a winning streak. Yes, we've got West Ham away next weekend after Nottingham Forest, and I believe then we've got Manchester United coming up. Part of the Manchester United game, I expect us to go on a winning run, because Man United can come on a new manager bounce and, show up. But we are playing at home in that game, but I'll preview that when that time comes. But when you look at the fixtures that we've got coming up, for example, after the Nottingham Forest game this weekend, you can look at it and thinking Arsenal can go on a run here. But as I said, not every game is winnable. We've got Nottingham Forest at home, then we've got West Ham away, then we've got Man United, as I said, then we've got Fulham away, and then we've got Everton at home, then we've got Palace in Carabao Cup, and also in the Premier League back-to-back. So you look at those games and you're thinking, these are potential winning games. And if you want to go and win titles, I'm hoping during the international break, these players have had a meeting between themselves and actually said, you know what, guys, what do we want to achieve this season? We want to win a trophy. So how do we get there? We need to start playing well the way we were last season, start playing for each other, playing for the fans, playing for the club, in order to achieve what we need to. And also, Arteta, I'm hoping, has looked himself in the mirror during this international break and thought to myself, what do I need to do tactically in terms of these players in the games that we've got coming up to achieve what we want to achieve, what we set out at the beginning of the season to achieve at the end of this season. So I'm hoping that the club as a whole, I know there's been a lot of changes in the club, Edu leaving, Jack Wilshere leaving, there's a lot of restructures, obviously, in the women's team as well. The manager getting sacked or leaving on mutual agreement. But there's been a lot of changes and there's been a lot of focus on Arsenal this past month. And if we can go into this game and win, I think the focus will change quite quickly. So I do expect Arsenal to go into this game and actually win this game. Can we keep a clean sheet? I'm praying that we can, because when you look at the fixtures before the international break so far, we've hardly kept any clean sheets, and that is quite worrying. Yes, we kept a clean sheet against Aston Villa, kept a clean sheet, I believe, against Wolves and against Spurs as well. Part of that, in the Premier League, we haven't actually kept a clean sheet. So that is quite concerning on my part. I don't know what you guys think in the comments below. So I do believe this is where Arsenal's season actually begins. So I'm hoping this team goes into this game. We haven't actually played a home game in such a long time in the Premier League. So again, this is why I say this is where our season starts. I'm not writing off what's happened, but I do believe if we can go on a winning streak from now up until Christmas, the club can look different. The table can look quite different between now and Christmas, because I just feel like we need some excitement in this club. We need some excitement within the fan bases, because there's been a lot of speculations and there's been a lot of talk in regards to certain players, how they're performing, whether they should be playing for this club, and how we should go into the January transfer windows. I think sometimes we need to take a step back. Like myself, this international break is giving me the opportunity to analyze things and look at things from a different perspective, in context, in regards to what's been happening, what's been available, how things have gone, the teams we've played. And I'm just hoping and expecting that going into the rest of the season, this is where our season starts. And I've said that so many times in this video already, but I do believe this is the restart button that Arsenal needed, because as I said in my previous video, we don't have a winter break this season because of the Club World Cup next summer. So yeah, so looking at the players that are actually available for this game, Ben White, obviously he's not available. He had a minor operation during the international break on an injury that he's been carrying for a few months now. So there's obviously reports to suggest that Ben White's going to be out between 8 to 10 weeks. It could be longer, give or take, depending on how his recovery is as time goes on. In terms of that position, there's reports to suggest that Tomiyasu might be available. We don't know yet. Let's see how that goes. We all know that Arteta likes to play his card close to his chest, so that is going to be potentially a waiting game. Timber, obviously, the last international game, we saw pictures of him not playing, not featuring. He was sitting on the bench alongside his brother. So again, there's question marks in regards to that. Ben White, obviously I've mentioned Ben White, Bukayo Saka, Declan Rice, they didn't travel with England during the international break. Declan Rice got a broken toe. Again, it's one of those things where do you give him time out, considering that we've got West Ham away come next week? Or personally, this is a game I think that he needs to play. Give him another injection, even if he plays for 60 to 7 minutes, 70 minutes. We can bring in Marino, for example. Odegaard, obviously, again, he didn't travel for international break, so he should hopefully be available. Same thing with Saka, and obviously the front three kind of picks itself. And Partey has been around, and obviously we've seen pictures of him training at the London Colney during the international break. So that brings me on to my predicted starting lineup going into this game. Got David Raya and go. In terms of right back, if he's available, oh yeah, I did forget to mention Calafiori as well, so he should also be back. So personally for me, my predicted starting lineup is David Raya in goal, Timber right back, Saliba Gabriel picks itself in the centre back's position. Calafiori, if he's fit and back, there's speculation to suggest that he should be back for this game. So he goes left back. Partey goes into the number 6. Declan Rice and Odegaard picks itself. Then you got Martinelli, Havertz, and Bukayo Saka up front. That's literally it. It picks itself. I don't think this is a game to be starting Sterling. I love Sterling. I like the player as a person, as a player previously, but I do think he's past his prime. He's one of those players that can potentially come off the bench, and depending on how the game is going, it can come on and make a difference. Same goes with Trossard as well, and same goes with Mikel Merino. With Mikel Merino, I do think there's a player in there. It's taking him time to adjust to the Premier League, the pace, the intensity of the game, obviously the weather of the country as well. So you do have to give him a bit of time to readjust himself and get used to playing in the Premier League, in my opinion. But I do think there's a player in there if you just give him time. If you look at it, I remember back in the day when we initially loaned Martin Odegaard, there was a lot of people within the fan base thinking, who is this guy? Do we really need him? Is he that kind of player? Fast forward 3-4 years, he's basically our leader, and he's showing that we miss him in the squad. So I do believe Marino, I'm not saying he's going to become our club captain, but there is a player in there if we give him the time to readjust in this league. So yeah, that is my predicted starting lineup. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What would you change? Would you go with the same starting lineup? Let me know. And also predicted score into this game. This is one of those games, there hasn't been many goals previously in this kind of fixture, so it could be a case of a 2-0, 2-1, 3-0, I don't know. But I'm going to go, I want a clean sheet, but we haven't kept a clean sheet in a long time. So I'm going for a 2-1 Arsenal win. We have to win. Anything more than a win, there's going to be more question marks. And I'm just tired of it. so far this season. Oh, we draw a game and we're not in the title race. And I can't even talk. And the next thing is, this is a must-win game. I'm tired of it. We need to win this game. And I'm praying that Arsenal goes into this game and actually put on a performance and win the game. We are playing at home. 3 o'clock kickoff. No excuses. Play like you want to win the league. That's all I'm asking for. And actually go out, win the game. And before you know it, the table can look a lot different than it did a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I'm going for a predicted Arsenal 2-1 win in this game. So yeah, that is me for this video, guys. As per usual, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. And also, if you're new around here, please consider hitting that like button. And most importantly, don't forget to share and subscribe to my channel. And as per usual, I'll be speaking to you guys in my match reactions after the game on Saturday. Until then, guys, enjoy the game. Talk to you guys later.